What's up, Net Soldiers? I'm the Alliance, and it looks like we're getting another Star Wars trilogy, but the big question is, should we care? Let's talk about it. But before we do, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications for more Star Wars fun. But with that said, let's begin. Now before we get too deep into this video, let's talk about the guys on board for directing. Well, on board for directing for now, until Kathleen Kennedy fires them and replaces them anyways.
The fuck up.
David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the creators of the Game of Thrones TV show, are on board to write and direct a Star Wars trilogy, which is understandable. People seem to really like Game of Thrones story and characters. In fact, I used to watch the show as well, and for the most part, it was a pretty solid show. But as we know, these guys are good at adapting a more gritty world. Not that they can't particularly do anything else, but that's what we know them for. So the question is, if they are to create a Star Wars movie or trilogy, what type of movie or movies would they be? So I've taken the liberty, nay, the pleasure of coming up with a few ideas that I think might work well with their directing and writing style. So for our first idea, as we know, these directors are good at adapting other people's work, especially stories with more adult themes. And while I doubt the Star Wars universe will ever introduce a sexual encounter on screen, unless you count that mind squid thing in Rogue One, that was a pretty weird scene, and yeah. I think we could still see like drug addiction. I mean, there was that one guy in episode 2, what's his name, Sleaze Bagano. So drugs are real in the universe, and drugs are canon, and one form of those is the death sticks. So from this, I think it would be cool if they adapted the Star Wars Legacy comics to the big screen. I think its mature themes and increased violence would be perfect for these guys. The story follows Cade Skywalker, a descendant of Luke's, while he and his squad make their way across the galaxy. They begin the story as common smugglers, but eventually realize they have a bigger role in this galaxy and join the New Republic to fight the new Sith Empire. It's quite the epic story with epic characters and Darth Krayt as the main bad guy. Plus, Cade's woman Delilah is sexy, so yeah. Now, although I think this series would be better adapted in a TV show, I would still be 100% on board if they made it into a Star Wars movie, or movies. Now, the first idea was more of like an adaptation, which they're used to, and this one is more of an original story based in a familiar universe. Now, for this story, I have created this idea a long time ago, and I think it would be cool to see a Star Wars movie set in the Clone Wars era. It would follow a squad of clones and perhaps a Jedi or two who crash land on a separatist planet and are trying to get their way to the evac point and are being chased by a droid army the entire time. And these droids aren't just by themselves, they are led by none other than General Grievous. But not the Grievous we see in episode 3 or the Clone Wars. This Grievous would show why the General was so fierce. I personally think it would be cool to see a Star Wars movie with a darker, more thriller-ish tone. And as the movie goes on, the men keep running away, and as the story progresses, they begin to fall one by one. It would be somewhat of a depressing movie, but I personally think it would be epic, especially to see an actual scary General Grievous as he's depicted in Legends, and not like a watered down Grievous like we got in episode 3. Now for the idea / trilogy everybody wants that Disney, aka Kathleen Kennedy, keeps ignoring the fans about. Let's give these directors the Old Republic era to play in. The Old Republic was always a more mature story compared to the main films, and an era that these directors would excel in. I actually don't know why Disney is so afraid of this era. It seems perfect for them to explore. I mean, think about it for a second. A story far enough away from the current canon where they can go or do anything. You want 100 Jedi versus 100 Sith? Here you go. You want Darth Revan to be canon? Here you go too. Like I stated, I honestly don't know why Disney fears this era, but I think if they explore the Old Republic further, Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of the Disney / Lucasfilm team will definitely win some points with the fans. And yes, those points they desperately need, considering the fact their 3 films so far have split the fan base so bad and are generally considered to just be meh films, and that's not a good thing because it's Star Wars, like why? But with all this said, this may have come out to be some sort of a malicious video towards Kathleen Kennedy, and it's not intended to be. I'm just tired of the BS going on with the powers and control over there. It's just frustrating. Stop ignoring your fans and saying, oh, this is what the fans want, even though it's not what we want. So I just really hope these 2 directors step up to the plate and make good decisions for the Star Wars universe. But that's all I gotta say about this topic for now. But what do you guys think? What type of movie or movies do you think these directors should create? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For more Star Wars fun, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.